Hey everybody, welcome to Chat to Riches. My name is Wade. Today's video is all about adding text to your videos using CapCut Mobile. We're doing this on my Samsung tablet. And this is day 3, video 4 in our CapCut Learning Guide series, learning the basics of using CapCut to edit in videos. You can check that series out here. This is not a CapCut masterclass. This is a novice to novice experience of trying to figure out the essential things so that we can start getting some content out there. I like to keep my videos under 10 minutes. This texting topic, I don't see that happening. This could easily be an hour. It's not going to be an hour, but it could be. Drilling into all the different little features that you can do. So I'm going to try to get some concise information out there that's useful for you guys while still showing you enough of the features that exist. Just fair warning, I don't think we're going to hit that 10-minute mark today, guys. Which if you're watching this video, you already know how long it is. But I don't, because I'm making it. So I'm going to put my screen up here for you guys. And one quick tech note, I'm just going to put my head over here to the side and just leave it here the whole time. The last video I kept having to move where my head was so that I wasn't interfering with what was going on the screen. And I don't know, I'm going to try it this way this time, just leave it here the whole time and see if that flows better. So let me know in the comments if you like that better or if you're okay with my head going to different places in order to not cover up what's going on the screen. So you can see on our right, we have our ChatGPT session open. We have our CapCut Learning Guide. We're going to hop in there. And as always, chat goes to the end of the conversation, so we're going to go back to the top. Touch quickly on what we're doing in this series. We're learning these things. We're not learning everything. It's not a master course. We're learning enough so that we can publish videos that don't look like total amateur, even though they kind of are. We've done day 1 basic editing. We've done day 2 auto captions. That was our last video, closely related to this one. We talked a little bit about these text features in that one after we got our captions in. Realized that I kind of made a mistake on that video. I taught you guys how to put captions in a video. We did it in a test video, and then I didn't put them in the video that I uploaded teaching you how to do it. So we're going to have those in there today. Anyways, text can be used for lots of things. Auto captions is a good way to start. For auto captions, I think you want text that is simple to read, that is consistent throughout, that is easy to see but does not take over or take away from your footage. What about all the other kinds of text you could add? Sometimes you want it to take away from your footage or stand out above it. So, Chat's guide here wants me to watch a video on CapCut text tutorial. I've got a link. I have a web address down there for you. I can't have live hyperlinks yet. Something about the partner program. It's another video for another day, but you can copy and paste. It's a pretty good video. He talks in detail about some of this stuff we're going to go into. We are focusing on these things: titles, arrows, labels, and highlight boxes. That's what chat wants us to focus on. So we're going to try and focus on that. Chat says, for educational content, this becomes incredibly useful. Notice this setting. Arrow appears. This is an important part. Text box appears. That's enough to look professional. Educational channels, you want to look professional. When talking about texting, you could use it for a lot of different things, and the way you use your channel, the kind of content you're creating, could really impact the way you want to use your text. So I'll give you guys options. I'm going to try just closing chat out for now. We'll revisit that later. We're going to go into that short little video that we used last time. I did learn one new feature right up here, which I think makes it a little bit easier to see the editing screen. If you click that, it just splits it that way. Side to side or top and bottom. We're going to try it this way for our texting. You can see we've got our captions in there from last time. We're going to come down here and we're going to go straight into that texting menu. We're going to add text. As with all of these layers, you're going to have multiple layers of text, multiple layers of video, and multiple layers of sound all embedded into your video. So those captions are just one layer of text. We're going to click add text and we're going to get another layer of text there. It pops up a text box. It says enter text. I'm trying to enter text. There we go. CapCut. Learning. Ooh, it knows its spell check for you. There it is. Okay, basic features. You've got your box here. You've got your text entry place here. You can shrink, enlarge, rotate. With that one, you can close it with the X and you can move it around the screen. Super basic. That white text's not super easy to read. A video that I watched said if you're using white text, you definitely want shadow. Makes it bright. We'll get into that in a minute. Our first screen here opens up templates. And these are all pre-made formatting that are generally include font, style, size, color, and animation. Those are all going to be done for you. You're going to say, I like this, I'm going to do this, and that's what the text is going to look like. In some aspects, that could be really easy. You don't have control over it, so we want to talk about doing each of those things individually. But there could be some times where that would be super useful. I think for captions, for example, I picked a template because it had the animation that I liked. It was pretty simple, easy to read, and I want my captions to look the same through the whole video. I don't really want them to change. You'll see trending is what we're highlighted, and there are many other options here for types of templates. So again, depending on what kind of content you're creating, some of these templates could actually be really good for your channel. Notice this social one earlier, social media, I checked that out, and I noticed you see things that you have probably seen in another video. So if you want to replicate, maybe you're doing a trend and you want it to be the same as what somebody else is doing, you might find a template that somebody else has used and make your video similar since you're doing a similar thing by using a pre-made template. Anyways, you can sit there and dig through templates for an hour to find the perfect one. You can also come over here to fonts and you can make your own. So fonts, again, you have different font menus, but I've bookmarked, I like this Avelith. I use that for my logo. I wouldn't use that for captions, but I do use that for some text callouts as well. System, super basic, CC Kiddo. It's fun, it's whimsical. It's not super professional. Again, it depends on how you're using it. I wouldn't use that for captions. I wouldn't consider that the most legible. Let's stick with system for now. Let's look at some of these other menus. Brand fonts. No brand fonts yet. Uploaded brand fonts appear in your space. We don't have those. Trending. That's where it always opens up to, is trending. That's where I found this Avelith and I bookmarked it because I like it. Yeah, so it gives you several options. Classic. Probably going to be more straightforward. Pretty simple. Pretty easy to read. You get into some of the more fancy ones. Might get a little harder to read. Of course, in the subsequent menus, you can impact the way the text finally looks to make it more legible. So that's nice and bold and big. Looks easy to see, but I also see how it could get blurry if you do too much with it. That one comes in super thin, watery, pretty hard to see. Lots of different text for different things. I'm going to go back to system for now. And we're going to talk about styles in the next menu. Styles is going to give you some presets that will just make your texts stand out, pop, be a little more clear. And then you're also going to have all your submenus for manipulating your text in your styles menu as well. So, I was talking about white text earlier. White text doesn't show up the best. So you need to do something like we have down there at the bottom. You can see we've got some shadow around our captions that make it a little more legible. So let's try that out right now. I'm going to say I'm going to keep it white. I'm going to pick that third one there. And see, all that did was add shadow to the back. But look how much easier that is to see now, even though that text is white. That shadow feature is very good. If you want colors or you want backgrounds, you got some options there. And then, of course, when you do that, you can edit those quite a bit when you come down here. Again, this is just kind of your starting point. So we'll start there. This first one is going to be the color of your font. We have white. We can go gray. We can go black. We can go Chateau Riches green, which is over here next to forest green. Can't see that because it's in a forest. Can we make it where you can? Well, I've got a dark green. I can make it bigger. It makes it easier to see. Opacity, I can make it clearer. So what that's actually doing is making the text itself translucent. And then all you see is the shadow behind it. And those are my text options here in this menu. Brand colors. Again, we're not going to have any brand colors yet. I would have to create those. Stroke. Stroke color. Okay, so that is actually an outline that goes around the outside of your text. So that's one way to make it more readable, is by putting a border on it. They're calling that a stroke. That stands out. That doesn't look too great. Some different options. The black ones will do super well with the dark green on that background, but the stroke or outline does do better than the shadow on its own. We're going to get rid of the stroke for now. Glow. Pretty simple. You got a pro feature there, but do you want to add a little glow to your text? And you can see it immediately gets blurry when you do that, but there it is. Adjusting the range. AI glow. That's ugly. Black works better. And okay, so you can kind of tell from those colors that is a background. That is what's happening behind the text. That is not what's happening to the text. But it does change how well you can see the text. That could be a cool one for certain things. You also have some offset. Interesting. So we've got some more functionality under this glow feature. The Pro version. That is not under the included free version. That little diamond right there tells you it's Pro. Now we can actually pick the offset, so we can move that. Glow, highlight, kind of back and forth. And point the direction our glow is going. Fun. Practical? Not sure. We're going to get rid of it for now. But now you know it's there. Background. Do you want something behind your text? Do you want it to be solid? You want it to just highlight the text. Let's go back. Now you can see it. Opacity. You could just use it to make your text a little more legible without completely blurring your background. Corner radius. Interesting. Okay, so we got curved edges. Sharp edges. Height. Barely covering the text. Covering everything. Width. Same feature. And again, you have that Y offset and that X offset of where it's actually sitting in relation to your text. Okay, we're not going to do background, but you know you can. Shadow. Here's where I'm going to make that green text show up. currently have a black shadow and that's not working too well. I'm going to put a white shadow on there, and look at that, folks. All of a sudden you can see it. You go gray, the shadow becomes more subtle. Text is still fairly legible. As I get darker, it gets harder to read. So the text over a similar background, you need something contrasting to make that text stand out. Yellow seems to work well with the green. I don't think purple's it. Purple is not it. We're going to go with white because that's super obvious. Opacity. How much of it do you want to see? Let's max that baby out. Blur. So that's how close your shadow is to just matching the text. So if you have 0 blur, it's almost like there's no shadow there. As you blur it, it becomes more and more apparent to the point where your shadow itself is almost a background. So the shadow feature I've used quite a bit already. I find it useful. Again, when you select your style of font, it can put it there for you automatically. Sorry about the mic. Distance moves it away from your text. Angle I don't see angle doing anything. Let's create some distance. There we go. If you create some distance, then you can decide which direction that shadow is moving in. So let's go back to 0. And we'll give it just a little distance, just a little offset there. Kind of make it pop. Effects. I'm not entirely sure the difference between effects and just templates, other than this only seems to impact the text and not the other formatting. But it does look like it says it's going to look. We've got multi-tonal shadings. That can be useful. There are some fun things here that would be good in certain situations. I know there's one. If you want color changing, there's a rainbow. I don't see it right there. There it is. So you can have your color changing throughout the font. Again, depending on what you're using your text for, some of these could come in super handy, because that would be a lot of work to try and create all those layers rather than letting this do it for you. Again, these are trending. We have classic. We have all these other options of different effects that are pre-built in there. I like that one. That one's fun. Rabbit hole. Okay, moving on. Animations. Now, this can easily be overdone, I think. My opinion is you could easily overdo this, but I think that they are useful and you probably do want to use them most of the time. So you have in animations, out animations, and loop animations. So in means as the text is coming in, the animation is going to be in place. The typewriter is kind of my favorite. You can have it slide in, you can have it pop in, you can have it do lots of things, right? So in animation is good. I recommend it. Just don't get too crazy with it. Depending on how much you want the text to stand out, it could easily become distracting if you go over the top. That would be my opinion. So normally I do a simple typewriter. You do have a search feature. So let's try type. Typewriter. That's the one I like. It's got the cursor. Cool, we got it. Down here at the bottom, we have how long it's going to take to do that. So it's going to type really fast, or it's going to type really slow. You can see I have that going on my captions as well. That is in. Out is if you want kind of an erase. You want your text to fade out when it's over with. That's what it's going to do at the end. How long do you want that to take? There's loop, which means it's just going to continue doing whatever animation you pick on an ongoing basis. That's wild. It's stopping because we're in preview mode, but I'm pretty sure it would just do that the entire time it was on the screen in your video. So, how much flash do you want? Again, that depends on your content, what your video is about, and how much you want it to stand out, what you're trying to say. Okay, finally moving on to bubbles. Haven't used these much yet, but basically you can kind of do a thought bubble type of deal. So I can say, that's me saying CapCut Learning Guide. Hey guys, CapCut Learning Guide. And you see it didn't actually affect my style of text, my art, all of those things stayed in place. It just put the text in a bubble. So similar to the art feature, but more of a background thing than a foreground thing. I want to get rid of that. I want to get rid of those. And I want to go back over here and bring back what I did that. I used my Chat to Riches color. Okay, stroke, glow, background, shadow, there we go. Get that white shadow on there. I'm sorry guys, I actually didn't finish. You also have curve. If you want it, you have spacing. So this is where you do your justifications. This is where you do your scale. Of course, you can just grab that and do that by hand as well. This is where you do your character separation. Your line separation. And your justification. You have bold and italic available. And you can tell it, put everything in capital, put everything in lowercase, put everything in beginning capital case. So styles, that's where you kind of have the most ability to manipulate the text yourself. And then you can go in and pick some background choices and some animations. Remember, if you go effects, it's going to take over your formatting or whatever formatting it has. Animations, it will not. It will keep the formatting you have. It will just say how it's going to appear or disappear on your screen. So there is, I believe we have covered all the text features in CapCut. Templates, fonts, styles, effects, animations, bubbles, and presets. Those are the basic features. You could use them 100 different ways. You really just got to get in there and play with it. I'll show you right here. You see I have that text, and that is happening completely independently of my captions. So I can even put it right on top of my captions. You wouldn't be able to read my captions anymore, so I wouldn't do that. But you can do whatever you want with it. It lets you. So if you want to make it look bad, you can make it look bad. Or you can make it look good and you can add to your videos. Well guys, make sure to check out the rest of the series and we'll see you for day 4. Have a good one.